Okay, so let's review the 14-point listing presentation. I want you to write down the following words. These are just your outline. So if you're sitting at the kitchen table, you don't have anything else in front of you. Um, you have these points as your bullet points for the outline of the conversation. Begin with gratitude. Next is give me one second, guys. Got some background noise. Okay. Begin with gratitude. Next is set expectations. Now, the reason I hesitated there because I realize as we're reviewing this that there really is something between begin with gratitude and set expectations. And it's the most important thing, which is begin with why. So many people, by the way, read the book, Begin with Why by Simon Sinek. Great book. So many business people focus on what they do, how they do it, and why never even gets talked about. And the most successful business people begin with why. Why are they in the business that they're in? What is their why? What is the reason for doing what they do? Okay. Now, my why, if I'm sitting at that kitchen table, is my mission is to meet your goals and exceed your expectations. Now, I didn't say my mission is to list your home. My mission is to sell your home. My mission is to get a commission check. No, my mission is to meet your goals and exceed your expectations. So everything that you're going to do during this listing appointment is going to be based on being a consultant and helping your clients achieve their goals and exceed their expectations. And if you're talking with someone that you believe has a goal or an expectation that cannot be met, then you'd rather turn the opportunity down today than let them down 6 months from now. Three questions that every seller is asking themselves are, and they're asking themselves this question about you. The moment you show up at their door, by the way, even if it's a for sale by owner preview or an expired preview, it's not a listing appointment. It's a casual meeting at a networking event, and you're a real estate agent. The three questions they're asking themselves about you are, can I trust you? Do you care about me? Can you help me? In other words, do you know what you're doing? Can you help me? Now, your job is to answer those questions in everything you do. All right, let's go back to the outline. All right, begin with gratitude, set expectations, do a needs analysis, prioritize their needs, trial, close. Now, we're going to do a lot of repetition here and hope everybody is okay with that. Zig tells us that repetition is the mother of learning. And until everybody has mastered this listing presentation at a high level, and I don't mean you've achieved mastery. What I mean is that you've learned this listing presentation to a point where you can go on a listing appointment and have a great conversation with that homeowner. You've got the confidence. If I get the appointment, I'm good to go. Versus, holy cow, I hope nobody says yes, because what the heck am I going to do then? If somebody says they want to meet with me, what now? And I get those calls. John, I got an appointment. What do I do now? Like, go on the appointment. All right. Begin with gratitude. Thank you for meeting with me. I'd like to start by sharing my mission statement with you. My mission is to meet your goals and exceed your expectations. Now, because of that mission, whenever I meet with a potential seller, one of three things typically happens. One of those things will happen today. Either one, they understand and appreciate the benefits that I have to offer, and they hire me, which is awesome. The second thing that occasionally happens is they may not hire me, which isn't so awesome. And then once in a while, I may choose to turn down the opportunity. Now, you may be wondering why I would choose to turn the opportunity down. I think you're going to really like the answer. You see, if I feel that a homeowner, a seller, a client, a potential client has a goal or an expectation that cannot be met, super important. It's not that I cannot meet, it's that cannot be met. Because if you say, I cannot meet, the message is, I can't, but somebody else can. It's if a seller has a goal or an expectation that cannot be met, I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now. Now, in order for me to know if I can meet your goals and exceed your expectations, I need to ask you a couple of questions. So, Valerie, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 not being so great and 10 being awesome, what needs to happen in the sale of your home for you to consider this experience a 10?
$700K.
700,000. Thank you. And tell me, Valerie, what would that do for you?
Like an advantage to buy a bigger home with a yard and a pool.
Got it. That makes sense. Now, if we could accomplish a second goal so that it would be a 10 plus, what's the next goal?
Well, closing sooner than possible. I simply just don't like people trailing through my home. It's not for me.
Okay. So closing sooner than possible. Tell me, what does that look like to you?
Say 40 days.
Okay, cool. So if we're sitting at the closing table within 40 days, that's a 10 for you, right?
That would be a 10 for me.
Okay. And I know you said that you don't want a lot of people coming through your home. And what else is important to you about that? Is there anything else important to you about that?
Yeah, I would have to clean my home each time people come in and out, and it's too much work for me.
I get
So
it. Yep. So Valerie, here's what I'm looking for. Are there any other reasons why selling your home within 40 days is important to you?
well, we need a bigger home
Mm,
with a yard. We live in a condo. It's not convenient walking the dogs down the elevator and end of the catwalk. It's just, we can't do it anymore. We need a home with a, so that we can open the sliding doors and they go out there.
got it. Okay. If we could accomplish a third goal, so this was a 10 plus experience, what's next? What else needs to happen? Communication. Okay. Tell me more.
I like to know what people are saying about our home.
Uh-huh.
After the showings, or at least weekly, and what are you doing to attract those buyers, the right buyer?
Okay. I got it. That makes sense to me. Now, out of script, guys, how many real estate agents do you believe sit down at the kitchen table and begin the conversation with set expectations? They begin the conversations with set expectations by telling the homeowner, by giving the homeowner permission to not hire them. The second thing that happens is sometimes they don't hire me, and that's not so awesome. So they're beginning the conversation by saying, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, you may hire me. That's cool. You may not hire me. That's not cool, but I get it. And I may choose not to take your listing. How many real estate agents? I'll give you the answer. You don't have to tell me. It's less than 5%. Less than 5% of real estate agents are doing this. 95% of real estate agents sell and tell. Pay attention. I promise you, everywhere you go, the restaurant, car dealership, the attorney's office, the doctor, the retail store, they're selling and telling. This is what we do. This is how we do it. They don't even start with why. They don't even take the time to learn what's important to the customer. Why is that important to the customer? And by doing this, what do you think you're conveying? You're conveying, I care about you. You can trust me. Now, if I don't do this, if I sit at Deborah's table and I go right to, this is why you should hire me, Deborah. This is all of the marketing that I do. This is how I'm going to sell your home. This is how many homes I've sold. This is my average days on market, my average list price to sell price ratio. This is my amazing marketing package, blah, 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 blah. I haven't asked Deborah one question. I didn't even ask her how she's doing. I'm just sitting at the kitchen table and saying, okay, let's start. Here's why you should hire me. Selling and telling. It's what most real estate agents do. Now, picking up the conversation where we left off, we did the needs analysis. We found out what Valerie's goals were. We discovered 3 goals: 700K, sitting at the listing table sitting at the closing table within 40 days, and great communication. Deborah, can you pick up where Valerie left off? So, Deborah, you have the same goals. I just want you to role play with me. If we could accomplish one of these goals and miss the other 2. Now, my job is to see that you accomplish, is to meet all your goals and exceed your expectations. However, at some point when we're negotiating a contract, it's going to be important that we know which one is most important. So, Deborah, out of the 3 goals that you shared with me, what's the first goal? What's most important? You're on mute. Sorry.
Selling my home in the shortest amount of time.
Okay, so here's what I'm hearing you say. If we're sitting at the listing table within 40 days and we're closing, sorry, I keep saying listing, don't know why. We're sitting at the closing table within 40 days and we got a little less than $700,000 for your home, and communication was good, but maybe there were a few speed bumps along the way. That would be a successful sale in your opinion?
Yes, it would be.
Got it. Now, if we could accomplish a second goal, maybe miss the third. What's the second most important goal to you?
Selling my home. Getting my home sold would be the second.
Deborah, I want you out of role play. Deborah, I want you to use Valerie's goals. So it was 700K, sitting at the closing table within 40 days, and good communication.
Okay.
So what would be the second most important goal to you?
Good communication.
Okay. So Deborah, here's what I'm hearing you say. Now, what I'm going to do out of role play, I am going to check with Deborah to make sure that the order she gave me is the correct order. And a lot of times it's not. So part of consulting is helping your customer realize and understand their goals, because prior to this experience, they probably don't even know. They start out with, I want to sell my home for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. I promise you, every single one of them do. Now, Deborah, here's what I'm hearing you say. I'm hearing you say that if we had a contract within 40, if you're sitting at the closing table within 40 days and we had good communication and you didn't get $700,000 for your home, that would be a successful sale for you.
No.
Okay.
A successful sale would be to sell my house for more than $700,000 because I needed to purchase the new home.
Got it. Okay. So between selling your home for $700,000 and being at the closing table in 40 days, if you had to choose one of those, which is the number one goal?
Selling my home for $700,000.
Okay. Now, if that meant that you're not at the closing table in 40 days, maybe it's 60 days, maybe it's 90 days, that's okay with you?
Yes.
Got it. Understood. Now, if I could show you that I'm the right agent for the job in order to accomplish all the goals that you shared with me today, are you ready to list your home?
Yes.
Okay, let's get started. All right, so let's jump out of role play again. Okay, let's get started is just a transition statement to the next step in the listing presentation, which is satisfy their goals. And all that means is this is the prescription that we're going to follow in order to achieve these goals. This is your marketing plan. This is what you do to get homes sold for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. Now, a lot of real estate agents, and it's okay if this is you, all right? Don't hear me saying it's not. A lot of real estate agents are going to lean on a presentation, something you're holding in your hand, something you can show them that has all of your marketing in it. It has an example of your flyers, your postcards, all of the websites that you're on, how you're going to market their property so that you can show them, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to tell you, it's also okay if you don't do that. One of my favorite responses to what are you going to do to sell my home is the same thing I did to sell the last 40 homes I sold. Now, you've got to know the person. You've got to be in really good relationship with them to use that. Otherwise, don't, right? But here's what I did. And here's what I would do if I were selling real estate today. I would simply give them a list of, this is my marketing plan. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a stager come through your home, and they're going to help you stage your home so that it shows at its best, so that buyers who come into your home are able to see your home in its best light. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule a professional photographer to come take photos of your home. And then we're going to put your home on the MLS. And I am going to send an email notification to the top 100 agents in our market, letting them know that your home is on the market. And I'm going to get on the phone and I'm going to start calling those same 100 agents and letting them know that your home is on the market. You see, my job is not just to market your home to buyers. My job is to market your home to other real estate agents. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to do that very few people do is I'm going to get on the phone every day and make between 60 and 80 outgoing calls looking for a buyer for your home. Now, simply, all that means is whenever I'm talking to someone when I'm making calls, I'm always going to ask, who do you know that's looking to buy a home? If you were looking to buy a home, tell me what you're looking for. Where are you looking? If I'm talking to a for sale by owner, for example, I'm going to ask them, when your home sells, where are you moving to? Tell me what you're looking for. If I'm talking to an expired listing, I'm going to ask them, if your home would have sold, where were you moving? What's important about moving there? And tell me what you're looking for. Now, because I'm having these conversations, I have a better chance of finding a buyer for your home. Now, statistically, when a new home goes on the market, most homeowners think the listing agent is also going to bring the buyer. And statistically, according to the National Association of Realtors, that only happens 3% of the time, which means 97% of the time, there's going to be two agents involved in the transaction. Now, here's why. They're going to see my marketing. My marketing is going to attract them to your home, but most of the time, a buyer sees your home, they see it in my marketing, and they're not going to call me. And the reason they're not going to call me is they already have an agent. They're going to call their agent to see your home. That agent is going to show up, they're going to love your home, make an offer, and your home's going to go on a contract. And you might think that I had nothing to do with getting your home sold. Like, John, all you did was put my home in the MLS and then sit back and wait for somebody else to sell it. So here's what I can promise you. I may not be the agent who brings the buyer, but I will be the reason your home sold. Script, write it down. I may not be the agent who brought the buyer, but I will be the reason that your home sold. And let's get back to how this conversation started. This is how we're going to meet their goals. This is my marketing plan. This is what I do. Part of that is also service. What am I going to do for all of my seller clients to exceed their expectations? So there's a meet their goals part of this conversation. There's an exceed their expectation part of this conversation. And I'm going to call after every showing. I'm going to give you feedback on what the buyer thought, what the real estate agent thought. I'm going to call you once a week, whether you had any showings or not. I'll keep you updated on the market. I'll let you know when one of the homes you're competing against went under contract. All right, pause a second. I know I have a question in the chat.
John, can I drop something in here real quick?
Talk to me, Thomas.
You had mentioned just a minute ago that you're the one that gets the home sold, not the MLS. That is a great example when dealing with someone who's thinking about a discount brokerage. If you're looking at your hot sheets every day, you bring up how many houses expire and don't sell in MLS daily.
Yes. Thomas always brings value. Thomas, please feel free to jump in and talk anytime. I appreciate that. Here's a good one for you. When somebody says that they're just going to put their home in the MLS, in other words, it's going to be a flat fee listing, right? My response to that is if the MLS sold every home, we wouldn't need realtors. Now I'm pausing because I wanted to give one of you a response to respond to that. The homeowner is going to ask, what do you mean? I promise they are. And that gives you an opportunity to explain the difference between hiring a flat fee company and working with a professional like you. It gives you an opportunity to share with them everything that you do that is different. It gives you an opportunity to explain that you're the local economist of choice, that you are a strategic pricing professional, and that you are a fierce negotiator. Why should I hire you? You have 3 answers every single time somebody says that. Why should I hire you? Because I'm the local economist of choice. Nobody knows the local market better than I do. I am a strategic pricing professional. I understand how the right strategy in order to get your home sold. The purpose of looking at comparables is not to determine what your home is worth. The conversation has nothing to do with what your home is worth. It's all about what's the right strategy in order to get your home sold. Makes a big difference. And I'm a fierce negotiator. All right, guys, it's 9:27, so I'm going to wrap on that. Please raise your hand. We got 19 people in the room, so let's go back to digital hand raising. Talk to me. What did you learn? What were your ahas? What questions do you have?
What if, what if, they want more, they want, advertising online, they want the postcard, they want, YouTube videos, sometimes they want so much more.
So,
And
Valerie, here's a question for you. If you go to Starbucks and ask for a hamburger, are they going to give you a hamburger?
no,
Right. And you're probably wondering, John, what the heck does that have to do with my question? So there's a book I want you to read. It's called Raving Fans. And the whole idea behind Raving Fans is in order to create raving fans are people, they're clients, they're past clients, they're advocates that are singing your praises. All right. They become a referral network within the community for you. The whole idea behind the book is that you don't have to do everything, but you do have to pick the things that you are going to do and do them better than anybody else. So my marketing strategy is, and I share, this is what I do, right? And this is what I do with every single home I sell. And the results that I'm getting by doing this is blank. In other words, Valerie, whether you're brand new to this or you've been doing it for 20 years, don't try to be everything to everyone. Pick and choose what you're going to do and do that better than anyone. Now, I know it's a answer. It may not be the answer that you wanted, Valerie, but that's how I would handle it.
It's cool. Thank you. Of
It's cool. You still love me, right, Valerie?
course.
Okay, thank you. Deborah, talk to me.
I'd like to know, when do you have that conversation again? So if the client makes changes, do you sit down and have the conversation about what their goals are? When do you do that?
Oh, yeah, that's such a good question. I almost never get that question. Well done, Deborah. They've signed with you and you're selling their home, and you're in a market where homes are selling 30 to 60 days, okay, or less, right? And your listing's not sold. Now you're following up because that's part of your exceed expectation strategy, and you're hearing frustration, right? Why hasn't my home sold yet? Let's get together and review your goals. Now, I'm going to do that a lot, Deborah, because I need to get back to the conversation we had. Now, if the conversation was, one of my goals is to have my property sold so I could be at the closing table within 40 days, and we're clearly not going to be at the closing table within 40 days, I'm going to ask, is getting to the closing table important to you? Yes. Is getting your price important to you? Yes. Which one is more important? And if it's getting to the closing table within the shortest period of time, if you had an offer today, now the asking price is $700, and if you had an offer today for $675, just out of curiosity, what would you do? Now, when they say I'd sell my home, your response to that is, then we need to position your home at $675. Because there are buyers out there that could potentially give you $675 that aren't offering $675 because you're at $700, because they think their offer is just going to be rejected. And they're going to say, well, that won't leave us any room for negotiation. And your response to that is, when you price for negotiation, negotiation is what you get. Now, I would rather see you price at the price you expect to sell your home and then stick to your guns. Negotiate hard, be willing to walk away, but give yourself an opportunity to get that offer. Valerie, talk to me.
Is that when you should go over supply and demand with them?
All the time. It happens at the time you take their listing. In your price range, there's 12 homes that are on the market. There's 4 that are selling every 30 days. You've got a 3-month supply of inventory. But more importantly than that, there's 4 selling every 30 days. It's been 30 days and your home didn't go under contract. Now, the question is, why were we not one of the 4? Now, the answer to that is always going to be price and presentation. And what you're looking for is top third in presentation. Now, you look at those 12 homes, and out of those 12 homes, your home is one of the top 4 when it comes to condition, how it shows, how updated it is. It's one of the top 4. And then bottom third in price. Out of those 12, your home is one of the 4 homes that are priced the best. Now, when you hit both of those things, your home will sell. Gina, talk to me.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I don't ever really hear you use the term, the market will talk to us about the price of your home, or using feedback. How do you say it to a client, as opposed to, like, I don't set the price to your home. The market will talk to us once it's out there. What terms do you use to communicate that to a seller?
I use that all the time. I just haven't used it with you guys.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't
right?
sure. I thought so. And I'm sure you would be using the feedback if the price is too high during these communication conversations as well, right?
Gina, the market has rejected our offer. It's always our, it's not yours, okay? The market has rejected our offer. Now, the question is, what are we going to do based on that feedback? All right, I got one more. Guys, I love all the questions. Valerie, I know it's okay. I've got 2 more. because Valerie's gonna jump through the screen and hit me if I don't call on her. Valerie, did you put your hand down?
No, I mean, no, I did not. I
All
have a
right,
question.
three. Let's go. Valerie, Thomas, Angel, Rocco.
Okay, so I know you mentioned price and marketing reason why a house wouldn't sell, but these days we have a lot of construction and maintenance fees are high. So, could you say, like, if it's priced right, that, well, the reason why it's taking longer to sell is, we have so much construction going on and people are not, they don't like that. So they'd rather buy something where there's no construction. And plus our maintenance fees are extremely high. How do you even get away from that? I mean,
All right. Price fixes everything.
right. Okay, price.
That's the answer. Thomas, talk to me.
For the conversation around pricing, if they had been listed earlier and they're expired or previously didn't sell, I don't know if y'all are aware of this number, but for buyer affordability, every 1% that interest rates go up, it's essentially a 10% decrease in the home sales price to maintain the same buyer affordability.
Write it down, write it down, write it down. Thank you, Thomas. Angel, talk to me.
So that supply and demand conversation, the 4 houses are sold every month. Is that, you say that this with every seller client, or did you really go back and do the research on that?
Sure.
I'm trying to figure out if that's a script or what.
Okay, so supply and demand is something that happens with every client. It happens at the time you take their listing. It happens at least once every 30 days, if not every week. You're constantly updating supply and demand. That is what's going to tell you if your home is going to sell within the next 30 days. You can almost guarantee it. All you have to do is learn how supply and demand works. All right, guys, I hope you got value today. And thank you for everybody that was here. I will see you tomorrow morning. It's script and role play day tomorrow. And until then, make it a great day.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
My pleasure, everybody.